are. So many of you first responders changed your course on September 11th as our mutual aid agreements clicked in and we were what we always are, which is one public safety family, taking care of each other and taking care of our citizens. We are here today to remember each and every person, innocent people whose lives were taken on 9/11, and the brave men and women who went in to save lives only to lose their own. We stand here proudly today with our men and women in public safety, and we understand the risks that you and your family take on every day to protect our public. And we think about that. And all of us, I know, after September 11th, thought about what we could personally do, to help our country through very trying times. And just the little things that some of us can do make a big difference. For me personally, it was after 9/11 that I joined as a volunteer reserve deputy in our sheriff's office to understand better what our men and women go through on a daily basis in public safety, but really to step up and serve our county and serve our community. We all need to think about, even now, 19 years later, what can we do to make a difference in our community and build solidarity of country, like the solidarity that we had after the 9/11 events. So let us remember and pray for all the victims and our first responders today and every day as we advance in Fairfax County. And before I introduce our next speaker, let me also acknowledge my partners on the Board of Supervisors who have joined us here today, starting with Supervisor Walter Alcorn of the Hunter Mill District, Supervisor James Walkinshaw of the Braddock District, and Supervisor Dalia Palachek from the Providence District. Thank you all for joining us today and for your dedication to the county. My next opportunity is to introduce to you our senior senator from Virginia and someone who has been a true partner to us in Fairfax County in all that we do, whether it is supporting federal funds for our Virginia Task Force 1 Urban Search and Rescue Team, which is absolutely an outstanding program that puts our Fairfax County mark out there for the world to see with empathy, helping people across the globe through trying times. Mark Warner has been there to support our initiatives when we need federal funding in Fairfax County, and I'm proud to introduce to you our senior senator from Virginia, Senator Mark Warner.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's hard to believe that it's been 19 years. Like Jeff, and I think every one of us here, completely remember where you were when you first heard. 19 years ago, not unlike even today, I was involved in a campaign. I was running for governor. I'd just gotten a haircut and was going back to the campaign headquarters when somebody said, go home and turn on the TV. The big debate was supposed to come. And suddenly, echoing what Jeff said, that big debate didn't seem that important at all. As we saw terrorists attack us in New York City, the tragedy at Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and right here in the Commonwealth of Virginia at the Pentagon. I remember going that day to my office, which was right on the Arlington-Alexandria border, and literally seeing smoke for hours on end billowing out of the Pentagon. And I saw and knew that day as well how first responders, fire, police, EMTs, some who are here today, responded in a way that really, literally rushed into danger to try to help those whose lives were at risk. We saw similar activities in New York and Pennsylvania as well. And for the days and weeks afterwards, all of the differences that had seemed so important before disappeared. And first, second, and foremost, we were all Americans. We honor, for these last 19 years, the commitment of those first responders, those who died in that tragedy, and we still hold their memories and offer condolences to the families who still grieve. But we also need to take that sense of all being in it together and renew that spirit today, because today as well, we face tragedy as well. A pandemic that has now cost the lives of 190,000 Americans and over 6 million of us who've had the virus. That same spirit that invited all of us after 9/11 needs to be rekindled today. We will get through this tragedy as well as we came out of 9/11. So again, my thanks to all those first responders, and I know the chief said I think there are 6 who are still in current service who responded that day at the Pentagon. We can never thank you enough for what you've done and what you continue to do, and for all your brothers and sisters who help keep us safe day in and day out. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. It's now my honor to present to you someone who I've worked with, someone who is a friend, someone who understands, whether you're fire, police, EMT, the enormous challenges you have as first responders. Kamala Harris has served as district attorney in the city of San Francisco. Kamala Harris served for 2 terms as the Attorney General of the state of California. She understands the challenges you face each and every day. I've had the opportunity to get to know her as a colleague and a friend, as someone who we served together on the Intelligence Committee. She understands what a dangerous world that we live in, but she also understands the absolutely critical role that first responders and our military play in keeping our country safe. And she understands that that kind of strong American leadership in a very dangerous world is needed today more than ever. My great honor and privilege to present to you United States Senator Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Senator Warner. And I must say to all of the people of the great Commonwealth of Virginia that you have an extraordinary leader in Mark Warner. I work with him when the cameras are on and when the cameras are off. And he is the same person, always fighting for the best of who we are as a nation and fighting for the people of Virginia. So thank you, Mark, for your friendship and for your work. I'm honored to be here today on this somber day, remembering those 19 years ago, as we all do. I was in California. It was early in the morning there. I was actually at the gym. And then the images started to come on the TVs. And everyone stopped, got off their equipment, and we all stood around in utter disbelief. In utter disbelief. Strangers were hugging each other. People who had never spoken to each other before were holding each other and crying. Out of that tragedy, and as we tried to reconcile and understand what was happening, without any reflection, we as Americans, as our first reaction, without pause, was to hug and hold each other. Perfect strangers. Understanding at our core, without reflection, without thinking about it, that we're all in this together. We're all in this together. And as we honor and remember those who sacrificed so much, who ran in harm's way to protect people they'd never met, to stand strong, as we honor their memories these 19 days later, let us also remember that honoring them is also about reminding us of who we are as Americans. Because in times of tragedy, in times of despair, in times of suffering and pain, we, by our very nature as who we are, we stand together. We stand together, understanding we are all in this together. And so as we honor them, let's remember that about who we are as a nation. And I want to thank Chief Butler for bringing us together. My deepest thanks, of course, to our active duty military, our veterans, and our military families for their service. And to all the first responders here today. My brother-in-law is a firefighter in California. And it is personal to me, as well as Mark said, throughout my career, part of my life's work, to stand with each of you. And I thank you for the sacrifice that you are prepared to make every day you walk out of your homes, and the sacrifices your family makes when they bid you off as you go, wearing that uniform, while they say a silent prayer that you will come home at the end of your shift. I thank you all for the work you do. And I know I speak for everyone here and millions more when I say we are so deeply proud of you and eternally grateful for your sacrifice and for your courage. And it is a pleasure, Chief. You told us that some of the heroes from that day 19 years ago are still right here serving this community. And I thank you on behalf of all of us for the consistency of your dedication to your country. So today we honor those lost in New York, Pennsylvania, and right here in Virginia. We remember the passengers and crew members, the firefighters, law enforcement, peace officers, and military personnel. We remember that they were more than victims of an unspeakable act. They were also parents, and sons and daughters, and neighbors, and friends. And we know that they will never be defined by the story of those who stole them away. No, they will be defined by their humanity, by their stories, by their laughter that still echoes in the homes and hearts of those who love them. What our attackers failed to understand is that the darkness they hoped would envelop us on 9/11 instead summoned our most radiant and defined human instincts, the instinct to care for one another, to transcend our divisions and see ourselves as fellow citizens, to race toward danger and risk everything to protect each other, the instinct to unite. If we learned anything watching the heroes of 9/11, it's that the strength of the human spirit knows no bounds, and that even the gravest threats against us only serve to reveal our true strength, that our capacity to act with love and courage in the face of immense challenge is what defines us as Americans. I'm humbled to be here and to join in this moment, and I wish and I pray that the cherished memory of those who served reminds us both of who they were as individuals, but also of who we are as a nation. Thank you for including me in today's ceremony. May God bless their memories and our troops and the United States of America. Thank you.
Well, this concludes our ceremony for today. I want to thank all of you who came to spend these few minutes with us. I want to thank our esteemed guests, Senator Harris, Senator Warner, Chairman McKay, Supervisor Pat Harity, and the rest of the board, and most important, those in uniform. Those in uniform who, after the cameras go away and we all put this stuff back, they're going to get on their rigs, get in their cars, and go back to work. That is what it's all about. That's what makes my mouth dry. Next year will be 20 years from September 11th, 2001. I hope to see you all here again, and in 2022, 23, 24, 25, and so on. Because when we say never forget, we mean never forget. And I ask you to do the same. So thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.
Great job, everybody. Right on the moment.